Good evening. I am calling this vlog Decluttering Chaos because I would say some of us have a space that we just put things that we want to set aside, decide later what we want to do with it, and that space just accumulates a little bit, and before you know it, it's a little bit of chaos. So Decluttering Chaos is kind of a little video of tips around that space, whether it's your garage or basement, or for me, it was my crawl space. For other people, it might even be that guest room that you're not really using, so you think, oh, I'll just put this here to deal with later. That's the space we're talking about. And if that's you, you're not alone. That is me too. I am guilty. I do it. And I know there are a lot of other people who do it as well, and then they wouldn't want to admit it because it's the stuff that you want to put behind a door and close the door and not have to deal with it, or you think you'll deal with it later, but really, when will you have time? So I have a few tips for you. I just decluttered my entire crawl space. I took everything out and it was chaos. It was a bunch of little things that I just didn't want to deal with, and there was no rhyme or reason to it. I was trying to put things in categories at first, and I was like, nope, not working. I have too many categories with only one item in them. And so I have some tips for you if you're going to embark on decluttering your chaos. If you are just joining, hi, my name is Hannah, and I'm using this month of January to declutter my entire house. I fully completed my declutter January mission, but I have a little bit of filming to do here in February because filming is new for me, and it was even more challenging than the declutter process. Tip number one that I have for you would be get everything out where you can see it, and then do the teensy tiniest good thing that you can do. I was realizing when I was sitting amongst all the chaos, it just feels like such a big thing. But chaos is not a big thing. It's 1,000 little teensy tiny things. That's why it's chaos. So just do the thing that's in front of you that feels like an easy thing to do. I had some random pens that I found in my crawl space, and there was a moment of what do I do next? And I literally picked up the pens, stood up, went and put them in the drawer where pens go. Such a teensy tiny thing, but I was like, okay, I can do that little thing. And then, I started doing itty bitty things at a time, and eventually looked around and was like, okay, I actually did quite a bit. Tip number one for organizing chaos: teensy tiny steps, teensy tiny decisions, little things go where they need to go. Tip number two, as much as you can, categorize things and group them together. For when you put them back, you're going to want to have them kind of in sections. That way, when you're getting stuff out, it just makes it easier to use. And a good tip for that is thinking about, you might pick something up like your clothing iron or something like that, and just think to yourself, if I were searching for this item, if I didn't know where it was and I was going to look for it, where would I look first? And for me, my clothing iron, I thought, I think I would look with my cleaning stuff. So even though it's not necessarily a cleaning item, it's still going in the category because that's where I personally would look for it. Does that make sense? Your categories are for you. They don't need to make sense to anybody else. And that's just one example. I have some things categorized in kind of sections now that maybe wouldn't make sense to anybody else, but they make sense to me. And that's the whole point. So your categories just need to make sense to you. They don't need to make sense to anybody else. Next tip, the repurchase method. This is the method I've been using throughout my declutter and has really, really worked for me. So picking up an item and just asking yourself, if I were standing in a store today, right now, would I repurchase this item, like pay money for it? Does it have that kind of value to me? And if the answer is no, you might want to consider just getting rid of it. The thing about like the space where you put clutter is you're putting it behind a door or like out of sight, out of mind, to kind of, it might even be like a subconscious thing, but you're like wanting to get rid of it. You don't want to see it. You don't want it in front of you. So you're just like putting it aside, kind of in a way, getting rid of it, getting it out of your space for yourself. It might not have the same value that you think it does. And if you're saying like to yourself, you know, but what if someday I need to use it? If you haven't used it in the last like 3 years, chances are you're not gonna use it. At least for me, I don't live in the middle of the Sahara Desert. I can pop out to a store and pick something up or order something on Amazon. Those resources are always available to me. So if there's something that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hold on to this for someday, you are storing it in valuable real estate in your home for heaven knows how many years. Do you need to store it, or would it be more valuable to you to just say, I'm gonna get rid of this item, not take up the real estate, and if I need to use it someday, I'll just pick one up from the store or order it on Amazon. That goes for so many things. You know, if you have a clothing iron, I don't know why clothing iron is my example for everything, but if you have a clothing iron that you don't use and you literally haven't used it in 3 years, and then 5 years from now you have a wedding you have to go to and you're like, oh, I need an iron, and you can't for some reason borrow your neighbor's iron, go to the grocery store. They have them in the grocery store aisle. Or, you know, just take it to a dry cleaner and have them do it. There are so many options that you don't necessarily need to use up that real estate to store that thing. If something is in your chaos area, because it's broken and you think that you're gonna fix it someday, let it go. If you've already purchased a new one or figured out a new solution for whatever it is, just donate it or let it go. Or, you know, maybe there's a kid, a high school kid or somebody who would like to fix it, or just get rid of it. Don't save things that are broken. Just let them go. If you haven't already had time to fix it, you might not have time to fix it in the near future. One other thing that I found, that when I was feeling tired or overwhelmed with the process of sorting through all the chaos, I would just grab one thing that needed to be sorted. Like I had a box of buttons that needed to be sorted. You end up with kind of like boxes of stuff that you want to go through, which is part of why you've set them aside, because you feel like you don't have time. And I picked it up, brought it with me, sat on the couch, put on a good movie, and just went through it, and then paused my movie and went and got the next thing that needed to be sorted. But sometimes taking something out of where you're the mess and just sitting down where you're relaxed and enjoying it can help as well. So this video was short and sweet, but I genuinely hope that it helps you declutter whatever your chaos area is. And just always remember, like, the chaos, the mess, it's not one big problem. It's 1,000 teensy tiny, really doable problems to solve. You just need to do the first small thing. Just pick the easiest thing to do and then keep going one after the other until it's done. And you will be successful 100% every time. It's not a big thing. It's just little things that you got to keep going and keep. It's true in life too, that when things feel chaotic and messy, just do the next small thing that feels achievable. Signing off. I hope that you have a wonderful day and God blesses you.